がここにいるうちの本物のスクールスポーツのために行こうぜベイビーバン手の国には気をつけて、現実になることがありますからね。
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and continue the long-standing tradition of covering Japanese boxing here on True School Sports. True School Sports, the #1 source for Japanese boxing in America, from an American. And you guys know the rest of the saying. Now listen, I want to speak about a fighter that is I think, gonna be just another one of those Japanese bantamweights. For those of you who really follow the bantamweight division, you guys know that this entire weight class has been taken over, hijacked, and ran by the whole of Japan and Japanese fighters. Right? They're doing a lot. These Japanese fighters are really doing a great job of making their presence known and felt all over the bantamweight division. So, in the past, I've talked about, of course, he vacated now, but Junto Nakatani, Seiya Tsutsumi, Yoshiki Takei, the champions. I've talked about Tenshin Nasukawa. I've talked about Daigo Higa. I've talked about Katsuma Akitsugi, who's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. But there's one guy. I've talked about Suzumi Takayama. But there's one guy that I have not spoken about at all. And he's ranked high. He's ranked very, very high. He's actually could be fighting for a world title in the next 6 to 9 months. And I would venture to say, in a country full of exciting, TV-friendly, fan-friendly fighters, he might be in the top 3 most fan-friendly fighters there are in Japan. That's a big statement because Japan got some of the most fan-friendly, TV-friendly fighters in all of boxing. But he's up there. And that is none other than the number 6 IBF, number 4 WBA, number 8 WBC and WBO bantamweight contender, the fighting pride of Hiroshima, Japan, Riku Masuda. Yes, let's talk about Riku Masuda, the Japanese bantamweight champion, because this is a guy that is worth talking about. This is a guy that's worth our time and our attention because he's fun to watch, man. This is a guy that when you watch him fight, his punching power, it jumps off the page. So much so to the point where people in Japan have, in the boxing community and in the Japanese media, they've started coining his straight left hand as the God's left. And I'm going to tell you guys something out there. For those of you watching this video that aren't really up on your Japanese boxing, the only other fighter I heard people in Japan refer to the straight left hand as the God's left was one of the guys that got me into Japanese boxing, which was the former WBC bantamweight champion Shinsuke Yamanaka, one of my favorite fighters. Man, Yamanaka had a straight left hand that when he touched you, you really felt it. It really made an impact. It had a big effect on the opponents that he fought. And it jumped off the TV screen, right? And so they're referring to this man's straight left hand as the God's left. So that's big praise in Japan, because that's what they call Yamanaka's straight left hand. But nonetheless, let's talk about his resume, because Riku Masuda has only been pro. He turned pro in 2022, in July of 2022. So he's been pro for just over 3 years now. Riku Masuda is got 9 fights, beating some notable names we're talking about. So I would say the 2 most notable names on his resume, he's 1-1 against those names. He has a win against former world title challenger Joanna Sultan, who many of us may remember fought Paul Butler, or not Paul Butler. Was it Paul Butler? I think it was Paul Butler. He fought Paul Butler, but he actually, Sultan many years ago beat John Riel Casimiro. So he obviously passed his best. Not what he was when he beat Casimiro, but still a name, a guy that's been at that level, so it's good to have him on your resume. And then he fought, before that, he had a very close UD loss to one of my favorite fighters from Japan, and probably one of the only other fighters that I would say is just as TV fan-friendly as him from Japan, Seiya Tsutsumi. Oh my God. Seiya Tsutsumi and him fought tooth and nail, and he just barely lost to Seiya Tsutsumi. And Seiya Tsutsumi is one of the best bantamweights in the world. So the fact that he fought tooth and nail with a guy like Seiya Tsutsumi, who's as tested as anybody, that right there will tell you, and it'll show you what kind of level Riku Masuda's on in the bantamweight division. Now, as far as his style is concerned, he's got crazy power with his left hand, like crazy power. If you go and you watch the Jonas Sultan fight, he caught Sultan. Sultan, I think, threw like a right hand, and he caught it. So he threw his right hand. So if you're a southpaw fighter and the orthodox throws his right hand, that leaves the left side of his body wide open, and he just dropped that left hand right where his body was, right where his liver was. And yo, I kid you not, go and watch that fight. He had Jonas Sultan literally screaming in pain because of the punch he hit him with. So that right there will tell you that his power is real. And yeah, so there's that. I've learned also that, Riku Masuda, in order to gain strength and punching power, apparently he stated in an article that he eats a lot of bear. He eats bear meat and eats a lot of deer meat. He eats a lot of venison, deer meat. And this is how he gains strength and gets strong for his fight. So there's that. He throws a nice lead left hand, but I would say, like, when he throws his lead left hand, Riku Masuda is not as reckless as a lot of fighters from Japan. Like, he seems to have a sort of poise and a certain ability to relax when he throws his shots, which I really, really like. And it is worth noting that Riku Masuda, like many power punching southpaws in Japan, because Japan has a truckload of those kind of fighters, he is also part of the training camp sparring Inoue for Mirza Akhmadaliev. So Inoue, and I've talked about it a lot on this channel, he's pulling out no stops for sparring for the Mirza Akhmadaliev fight. He's sparred Kenji Fujita, Makita Nakano, Subaru Murata, Marlon Tapales, and now Riku Masuda is part of that list. So, hey, you're sparring with the best in the world. You're part of the Inoue camp for what Inoue is going to be Inoue's toughest fight since the Fulton fight. And so, that obviously is going to sharpen him up and get him better. Yeah, so you look at him right now, and you look at what could be next, what could be on the horizon. Now, obviously, he wants a Seiya Tsutsumi rematch. Tsutsumi is the WBA champion at recess and is going to fight Antonio Vargas in a consolidation bout to determine who is the WBA champion. If Tsutsumi wins that fight, Masuda's 4 in the WBA, it's possible that he gets that rematch, right? Which I think would be a great fight. Tsutsumi's been in a lot of wars. He's taken a lot of punishment. It's very possible that Masuda catches him at the right time and beats him, right? So that's a good fight. If not that fight, I'll tell you the fight. I'm going to tell you guys the fight that I like. And this will be a video on its own. But I'm hoping that we get Riku Masuda versus the Filipino fighter Kenneth Lover, because I think that would just be an absolutely insane, crazy fight. I think you could argue that's 2 of the hardest punching fighters in the division fighting each other. And they're both in the rankings. They're both ranked in and around each other. So I like that fight. But look, when you talk about Riku Masuda, I'll tell you this. In a country that has nothing but power punching southpaws, he might be the most devastating power punching southpaw of them all. Like, he really is punching like that. I mean, you look at Masuda, the only guy that's gone the distance with him is Seiya Tsutsumi, and that's only because Seiya Tsutsumi is batshit crazy, and you got to kill Seiya Tsutsumi to stop him. That's the only way you're gonna beat a guy like him. You have to really kill him, and I hate saying that, but like that, he's one of them guys, So there's no shame in that. Other than that, he's knocked out everything in sight. So that being said, guys, let me know what you think. What do you guys think about Riku Masuda? Is he the next world champion in Japan? He's right there. He's only boxed 38 rounds in the pros and 9 fights, but he's right there knocking on the door of a world title shot. So leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this, make sure you guys stay tuned and subscribe. You won't be disappointed.